On behalf of Regional Development Australia, RDA Gold Coast, I'm Dan Hunges of Edge Marketing, and today I'll be interviewing industry leaders at the Additive Manufacturing AM medical industry. We're here at ADaPT 1.0 at the Gold Coast Health and Knowledge Precinct to discover how AM is changing medical technology, products and devices. I'd like to introduce Derek Smith, the Technical Manager with ADaPT here at the Gold Coast Health and Knowledge Precinct. Derek, I understand ADaPT was established to lead technology development and transfer for commercial and industrial application, and ADaPT can help industry in adoption, access and development of AM and design processes. What work has ADaPT been undertaking in the medical field with AM technology?
Well, we're doing several things at the moment, and really what we find, especially being so close with the hospital on the Gold Coast Health and Knowledge Precinct, that the pool is enormous. Surgeons are coming to us regularly looking for new projects, particularly around implantables. We're also looking at specific surgical simulation models and how to allow a surgeon to simulate complex surgery with both bone and soft tissue prior to going into the surgical environment. And that really helps surgeons optimise the surgery before the patient gets anywhere near the theatre.
So ADaPT 2.0 is planned for the Gold Coast Health and Knowledge Precinct. How is that progressing and what will ADaPT 2.0 provide?
Well, ADaPT 2.0 is already in the design stage with our architects. Hopefully we'll be breaking ground on a new building within the next 3 to 6 months. Once it's built in 2 years' time, we plan to expand on our offerings. So already we're very medically focused, but we hope to move into areas such as biotechnology and therapeutics, material science, to really help push technology forward on the Gold Coast.
I'm now speaking with Ben Michelfelder from EOS. Welcome, Ben. Can you let us know what EOS is undertaking in the AM field?
EOS has been in the field of additive manufacturing for 30 years and delivers machinery, consumables, software, services, as well as something called additive minds to the industry. Additive minds is a department of EOS that takes care of knowledge transfer, because at this stage of the adoption of the technology, it's very important that customers can deliver full solution chains and build full solution chains around their products. In future, EOS will continue to focus on delivering a very high process quality and part quality out of the machines, but also focus on the automation of systems to fully integrate them into a traditional but digital factory, and also continue focusing on bringing down the cost per parts or even the total cost of ownership of the technology for our customers.
Great. And what opportunities does the Gold Coast and ADaPT present to EOS?
There's a lot of opportunity in additive manufacturing at the Gold Coast, and ADaPT is an institution that very nicely helps to facilitate these opportunities for customers. So basically to take customers' ideas and visions and bring them to life. And that was a missing link in the industry, and Griffith University is taking care of that now.
I'd like to introduce Anthony Harrington, the CEO with 3D Morphic. Anthony, I understand that 3D Morphic is optimising personalisation of orthopaedic devices with AM technology, and in doing so, cost and time in the operating room is dramatically improved, and as a result, reducing risk to patients. Can you tell us about this process and how AM is changing or enabling your business?
What we've done is we've automated the process for producing the design file that the surgeon uses to create the implant on our 3D printer. That's involved a lot of software development that we've pioneered over the last few years, and in recent months we're starting to commercialise that opportunity by commissioning our high-tech facility in Sydney, right near the point of care where the surgeons operate. Now, in terms of our offering, because our implants are custom made specifically to the design file that the surgeon creates with our design engineers, it means you end up with a fantastic fit in the patient as opposed to a generic off-the-shelf device which doesn't fit as well. Now that means that implantation time is extremely quick for the surgeon, from 40 minutes fiddling about trying to get a non-custom implant to fit, to about 90 seconds implantation time with our implant. So it's massively faster. And every minute you save in the operating theatre is a massive saving for the hospital and the surgeon, because operating room time is extremely expensive. So there's a massive saving for the hospital, and by default, a massive saving for the healthcare system and the patient. Also, the process is far more efficient in terms of the revision rate should be lower because the implant fits so well. And for the hospital, from a process efficiency and profitability point of view, it means if they're saving 40 minutes per procedure and they have half a dozen procedures that day, that means they've saved 240 minutes and they can add several more cases to that day's list. So it allows the hospital to get greater throughput through the efficiency savings. So in short, custom-made implants printed on our 3D printers to our unique design are good for the hospital. They're great for the patient, obviously, because the patient gets a perfect fit, and they're fantastic for the surgeon as well, who gets much less stress and much less operating time.
So I understand this is your first visit to the Gold Coast Health and Knowledge Precinct and ADaPT. What are your first impressions?
Very impressed with the facility here from both a safety perspective for those who work with these materials, which can be tricky, but also the quality of the machinery that they've chosen. They've chosen EOS machines, which is a market leader from Germany. The assisted processes, the post-production processes, the way they've organised the facility with pressure-controlled rooms so that when you open the door, the dust blows out instead of in. You can see that they've air-conditioned and humidity-controlled every room. Which is important for 3D printing because the machines have to operate in a very specific humidity and temperature environment. So I'm going to steal a lot of their ideas, I think, for my facility back in Sydney, because they've done it just right.
Combining expertise in micro and nanoscience with big data analytics, artificial intelligence, complex medical imaging and functional modelling, and the latest in 3D printing and bioengineering, ADaPT is the flagship institute within